my mother always had a book in her hand. Mm-hmm. They were more of the Harlequin novels, so I wasn't so much personal development, the romance novels. That made me want to become more well-read.
Okay.
Was it a family member that inspired you to look on the brighter side of things? Or you believe it's genetic?
It's a lot of it's genetic. It was just the way that I was born. I was raised with my mom and 3 sisters and a lot of love. So we didn't have money, but we had lots of love.
Wow.
But my mom said, Mike, from the moment you came out of me, you were smiling. She's there. I'd go in the morning and the other kids would be crying and you'd be smiling. But it's funny. When I was in 4th grade, we went to the library and we had to pick a book. And I picked a book on Thomas Edison.
Really?
I read Thomas Edison. I was amazed at his, how he failed a million times to become successful, how hard he worked. And from that moment on, I only read books about people's lives and biographies, yes, and growth and success.
How old were you?
I was 4th grade, so I was probably 10,
Wow.
something like that. So that was I never read anything else except for the history of people's lives, whether it's all kinds of heroes. So
4th
I like
grade.
that. Yes, so 4th grade. So I like personal stories, and I like personal, people. Again, so many people came from nothing, and how they got to where they are, today.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Barry Habib. He's one of the top originators in history. He's like $2 billion in personal volume, owns a coaching company. It was the sediment left to him by his mother. I'll never forget, they had no money. His father wasn't in the picture. And this impacted me. He was saying that he's that age, in that 10, 9 formative years. Mm-hmm. They had no money, and someone was asking for money on the street, and she gave him like a penny. He's like, what are you doing?
Right.
This is just what we do.
Yeah.
And it was like, that switch went on.
Yeah. Well, that's what my mom invited anybody into our house. Back in our day, you were out on the street, in the morning. No parents wanted any kids in their house. It was go out and, come back at lunchtime or come back at dinner time. But my friends used to say, Mike, let's go talk to your mom, because my mom loved everybody. And she was just very inviting. And we'd be telling my mom when we were 12, 14, crazy stories. She'd be like, oh, be careful, guys, be careful. You would never tell any parent what we would tell my mom. So my mom was very accepting.
Okay.
And she was very loving. So a lot of it came from that. But my parents went through a divorce when I was like 11 or 12 or something like that. And so it was just my mom and 3 sisters and I. Wow. And there was no food in the house. And I knew the finances when I was 10 or 11. And so that made me say early on, I am never going to live like this.
Wow.
My life will not be like this. I don't care what I have to do. I will work my butt off.